Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Unveiling it today. There we go. Now we go a little further. There's going to be a prize offered from Bet Regal for this. But I'll give you a little example for me. If you're throwing money down on the San Francisco 49ers to win in a conference championship game on Sunday and your quarterback gets his throwing elbow crunched in the very first series, would you not suggest that's a bad beat? It didn't have to be in the final couple minutes to ruin your bet. The first series for the 49ers, that's a bad beat for me. Am I doing this right?
It's part of it, for sure. You might as well rip up your ticket in the first quarter when that happens. So I get it. That's definitely a bad beat.
You had one?
I do, and it goes back to, I think, Thursday. It was college basketball. I got it up here over my shoulder. Arizona Wildcats were favored by 5.5 points over Washington State, and they were up by like 8 or 9 points with 8 seconds left, and they had the ball. But instead of running the clock out, they tried to score. It got blocked. Washington State went the other way, put a 3 in to make the game only by 5, and anybody who had Arizona by 5.5, they lost on a stupid play
so we're asking,
in the last second.
Yeah. We're asking our audience, if you're playing on Bet Regal, to submit your bad beats coming out of the weekend, and Bet Regal will refund one lucky consumer the amount of their bet, correct?
Not yet. Not yet. But they will be. That's coming. That's coming down the line. Okay. So let us know your bad beat on the text line, and there's going to be opportunities to win some prizes from Bet Regal.
Oh, okay.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is round 3 of our NHL Retro Reverse Jersey bracket. Today we're pitting the New Jersey Devils against the Pittsburgh Penguins, a couple of Metropolitan Division rivals. Mario Lemieux on the right and God knows who on the left. Chico Rash. But I'm voting for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Slam dunk. Mario Lemieux, Yermer Yager, Pens. I love it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, buddy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show, and we are coming at you live. Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio. Shout out Ryan Radio in Metro Atlanta. I want to hear from the Atlanta peeps today in the state of Georgia. They're going to be coming up here in a very interesting poll, which I'm going to be reading in moments. Joining us as always, the co-host from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, Darren Moose Dupont, joins us, and I will get to some of the howdies and hellos from everybody today. Your dad's watching, Clark. Just want to point this out here. Rod Monroe says good morning to the best sports talk team, Rod, Darren, and crew, and that includes his son, Clark Monroe. What's up, Moose? What do you got for me today?
How's my hair today? I've been very self-conscious about my hair today after yesterday. Is it better?
Oh, Darren, come on. You know you got the best television. Sorry, you got the best hair in television. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you this. I don't know what the temperature is where you are, but tonight I'm going to be running Rod's taxi back and forth from the airport, people rolling in for the NHL All-Star festivities here. And I don't know, one of the guys I'm picking up is Rich Sutter. I'm looking at my phone right now, and he was upset. He's like, it's raining down there. Is it raining? And I'm like, no, it's like 27 and sunny, bro. Celsius. That's 81 Fahrenheit. Very steamy. So I'm excited to be running the taxi, getting ready for the NHL All-Star festivities, heading down to Sunrise this afternoon to get my pass. It's just going to be fantastic. Coming up on today's program, the voice of the Edmonton Elks, and for 18 seasons, radio color commentator of the Edmonton Oilers, Morley Scott. He's a great guy. And also Arash Madani, another great guy from Rogers Sportsnet and host of Blue Jays broadcasts. By the way, speaking of the Oilers, let's get it out of the way now. The poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Capital has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies, the state of California, the city of Edmonton. It's round 3 of our Jersey bracket. And today, can you help me out? I don't ask for much. I feel like I need your help to vote for the Los Angeles Kings today, okay, against the Edmonton Oilers. Nothing against the Oilers. They were my childhood team, but that Kings jersey is a thing of beauty. Yes, it looks like an Imperial margarine container for those of that ilk in a superstore or in a grocery store near you, but I want LA to win. Florida went down in the first round. I don't know why, but that's okay. It's this jersey. It's my favorite jersey in NHL history. Please vote for the LA Kings and help me out. It's up to everyone. It's a vote, so you can vote for whatever you want. It's a democracy. But I got the LA Kings. I want them to win the whole darn thing. Moose, who are you voting for in our poll today? Round 3 of the jersey bracket.
Don't ask. It's pretty easy. It's got to be LA. But the problem is, and you just kind of alluded to it a little bit, we have so many Edmonton viewers and listeners of the program that sometimes the fan base will just win the poll no matter if it's deserving or not. That was the old Rough Riders problem, right? Any poll on TSN, any poll anywhere, play of the year, didn't matter if it was a better play or not. They won just because more people voted. So, and I think that's what's catching the Winnipeg Jets on this wave, in our jersey bracket too. So here's hoping that justice reigns and that the Kings win because they deserve it.
Let's get the viewership up, start spreading the news. We're live on Game Plus TV, the listenership as well on WQEE Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, specifically noon in Georgia, and YouTube Live. I'll get to your questions and comments when I can, but this is the warm-up. This is our time. Later on is viewer takeover. I long for the day, Darren, that I don't need to say that, because as you know, I say it every single day. They don't listen. Woo-sa. Their problem, not mine. Other than to say, Kevin the Medium's written in and says, your hair looks Hollywood. It looks beautiful. Actually, it's John Ohm that says Hollywood. Kevin the Medium says it looks beautiful, Moose. So just so you know, yeah, you're good. You're good. Whatever you did there, Ben Stiller. Something about Mary. Okay, can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please? Trust me, we're getting to the Bo Horvat stuff, okay? So just hold on to your bingo cards. There was one game in the NHL Monday night. Mark Scheifele and Josh Morrissey each scored twice in the third period as the Winnipeg Jets erased a 2-0 deficit and posted a 4-2 victory over the visiting St. Louis Blues. Scheifele's goals were his 30th and 31st of the season as the Jets snapped a 3-game losing skid. Former Edmonton Oil King Jake Neighbors and Nikita Alexandrov scored for the Blues, who led 2-1 with 11 minutes to go in the game. So I can't imagine there's too much to complain about in Winnipeg. They'll find something, like any NHL fan base, particularly in Canada, but they came back and won a Central Division matchup. All is good today. The Vancouver Canucks insist they made their best offer to re-sign Bo Horvat before dealing him to the New York Islanders Monday for forwards Anthony Beauvillier and Aatu Räty and a protected first-round draft pick. General Manager Patrick Alvin told reporters Monday night that the Canucks never closed any doors negotiating with their 27-year-old all-star captain, but when they couldn't reach a deal last week, they decided to start building for the future. So we'll spend a minute on that before we move on to all-star festivities and get into the real fun stuff. The Hughes family, Kevin and Jake, are big viewers of ours in Airdrie, but they're huge Canucks fans. They have their thoughts on Horvat being traded. I think everybody does. This is a team captain. He's a Canadian kid from London, Ontario. We've frankly been following his career since, I think you'd agree, he came on our radar at the 2013 Memorial Cup with his London Knights. I got a lot of thoughts. The Islanders clearly think that their season is salvageable, and they're within striking distance of Pittsburgh in that Metropolitan Division. They had to give up something to get something, 3 for 1, 2 players and a first-round pick. That's not small, Darren. I think for Vancouver fans, they're upset because Bo Horvat's a great player. From what I've seen, and I saw them play here 2 weeks ago, he's a quality leader. He's not that kind of player you'll want to move on from. But if they couldn't get him signed, does that not tell you he doesn't want to be in Vancouver? He's had a largely terrible time there. They've only made the playoffs once in his existence as a Vancouver Canucks. So it signaled a lot of things to me. Vancouver is moving on, finally, and the Islanders think they can save their season.
Yeah, they do. And Bo Horvat's the guy who can come in and make an instant impact on Long Island. I mean, I really think so. He's putting up points. He's going to continue to do that. He's a leader, obviously, wearing the C in Vancouver. So he's going to provide that impact. They've got good goaltending in New York, too. So there's some pieces there to potentially get in and go on a little bit of a run, which you'd like to see. I compare Vancouver's situation a little bit to Winnipeg's last year. Things were not going anywhere near expectation. They have talent on the roster, but weren't getting it done. What did they do? They stripped the captaincy from Blake Wheeler, right? Moved on from their captain, essentially, and brought in a new coach, and the culture changed a little bit, and boom, same pieces went to the cup. Now, they didn't strip the C from Bo Horvat, but you move on from your captain. You remove all leadership, your captain, your coach, and now we can really reset the culture. So sometimes you have to lose something to gain something, and I think that's the situation in Vancouver.
Let's hear from the Vancouver audience. 902-518-3033 is the number to reach us right here in the studio, but you can also write in on the YouTube feed. I don't see it like Winnipeg much at all because Winnipeg had success with Blake Wheeler as their captain. Vancouver hasn't had any success with anybody as their captain ever. Well, not since 1994 anyways. I mean, they really wanted Bo Horvat to stay. He really wanted to leave. I don't know that Blake Wheeler ever really wanted to leave Winnipeg. I see what you're saying. Make small changes and get back to optimum playing level, but the Canucks haven't been at optimum playing level. So, anyways, there it is. From BW in Edmonton, he says, Rod and Moose, did you see it's almost 25 years since the last Canucks-Islanders trade? Linden trade for a young Bertuzzi. How about that? Jennifer from the Four Seasons says, good morning, everyone. Looks like Bedard could be going to Vancouver with that trade. Well, we're going to see, aren't we? We're going to see. We got 2 months left in the regular season. You still can't guarantee, it's a great segue, by the way, for my next point. You can't guarantee, even by tanking, that you're going to get the #1 overall pick. So I like that with the lottery. That's our take. I'd love to hear our viewers as we move on to point 2, and that is simply NHL All-Star Memories. I've been doing a lot of reading. There's a lot of coverage on. They were talking about it on the radio down here, that there's events all over South Florida. Everybody's excited, and they should be. The NHL All-Star Week is here. As I said, I'm picking up NHL personalities tonight from the airport. It's going to be big fun. They want to go out to eat when they get here. I'm like, it's pretty late for an old fart like me, but we'll see. We'll see, Moose. Gary Bettman, tomorrow, Wednesday, marks the 30-year anniversary of him being the commissioner of the National Hockey League, of him being hired and named commissioner of the National Hockey League. I've been reading this, and they said Bettman copied the NBA on a lot of things. That's where he came from. He copied the draft lottery idea. I would suggest it's worked. I like that. He stole NBA All-Star Weekend ideas with the skills competition and various fan voting and stuff like that. I mean, you wouldn't think these are very groundbreaking ideas, but somebody had to come up with them, and it was the NBA in a lot of ways. Bettman stole them. Who cares? Nothing really is original in our business. The question tomorrow will be, do you like Gary Bettman? Put me down as a yes. I won't ask you your question until tomorrow. But there's a lot of events. It's exciting. We're going to be live on location from the Beach House on Friday. NHL personalities coming down for there. Are you getting a sense that there's a buzz in South Florida, Darren, for the NHL All-Stars coming to town?
Well, it's filling my social media feeds, too. The NHL's doing a great job targeting people. I mean, and I'm a sucker for it. I'm getting these things popping up from the NHL. How well do you know the NHL players? How well do you know the All-Star history? And I'm hitting on all those quizzes and playing them and testing my knowledge and doing pretty well, actually, too. That's a good thing. But we're having lots of fun with it, and we're seeing replacements for the All-Star game coming in, lots of different cool things happening. And I think the players, too, are excited to take a little break here and go to South Florida, warm market, middle of winter, and enjoy All-Star weekend. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, Chandler Stevenson, good friend of the show, of the Vegas Golden Knights, is coming in as an injury replacement. I see that Jake, one of our audience, said, want to know our thoughts that Bo Horvat will continue to play in the NHL All-Star game representing Vancouver, even though he's now in the Metropolitan Division. And they always do this. I think he's earned the right to be an NHL All-Star, and that's how it works. That's not new that they would do that. And NHL All-Star memories. There's one that very clearly comes to mind for me. and it was 1997. I think we all know it. Owen Nolan versus Dominic Hasek. Nolan came down and called his shot in the top right corner of the net on Hasek, and he put it there. And by the grace of God, I've, as you know, and the viewers know, I've had a wonderful life, been able to be around and be with these celebrities. I did an event with Owen Nolan one time, and I asked him about that, and he felt bad about it because he showed up Dominic Hasek. That wasn't his intent, Darren. That probably wouldn't surprise you. He came in on the left wing, his off wing. It was fun. It was an all-star game. They're all goofing around. It was like his scrimmage. Points to the top of it. Bink. Oh. Hey, if you notice, he didn't really celebrate it. He felt bad. That's the old Nolan take on that in 1997. Do you have one?
Yeah, it's that same one because I remember that plain as day watching it. That was the height of, like, when I was really getting into hockey. And then that replay, that play was a fixture on the next edition of Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em. And I remember it clearly, you know. Owen Nolan calls his own shot. He scored a hat trick. The game was in his own arena in San Jose.
In San Jose.
Called the shot, hat trick at home. And for some crazy reason, he didn't even win the MVP of the All-Star game. Like, that was the biggest, gaffe, I think, is that he didn't win the MVP in his own rink when he scores a hat trick and calls his own shot. But that highlight will live on forever.
Well, it's funny, by the way, on Owen Nolan. It was... We got to get him on. I don't know if I gave Clark his phone number or not. He's not what I expected. I mean, all hockey guys are good guys, in my opinion. But he was more like Al Borland from Tool Time. He was more like the neighbor. He's a handyman. He's just an average guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, 2002 Olympic gold medal hockey game, he had a handy cam on the bench. I don't know if I ever told that story on there. He's videotaping from the bench the final moments of the game. And the coach, it was a Pat Quinn, kicked him in the seat of the pants and said, "Get out there." And he's like, "No, I'm filming." He stayed on the bench to videotape the end of the game. And I said, "What have you done with that video?" And he's like, "It's still on the camcorder, I think. Never looked at it." I'm like, "Oh, my God. What would that be worth?" But that's...
I know.
Owen Nolan, just so real, so not a big deal. Can't finish the game. I'm filming here. Hello. Now, speaking about hockey guys being good guys, and I do want to just say this about Don, our Navy friend, has written in on Gary Bettman, and he says, Bettman's longevity as NHL commissioner is something the CFL can only dream about. He's done a great job. He's still a bit of a weasel, though. Who knows? He's been great to us. There's no doubt about that. He's the longest-serving commissioner of the big four major North American sports. That's got to count for something, too. I'm glad he brought up the CFL comparison because we'll get into this after the break, but he made NHL stars global stars. You've heard me talk about that quite a bit, Theo Fleury, Rich Sutter. They're global stars. How did Bettman go about doing that in the 90s? And I give him credit for that in a lot of things. But the other thing is the Bobby Hull. It's been 24 hours since news came out of his passing, and the coverage has been polarizing. You know what I'm talking about. Bobby had a very checkered off-ice history, and that's as much come to the fore as his wonderful exploits on the ice. And I'm wondering where our audience falls on the great Bobby Hull, Hockey Hall of Famer. So sit tight, everybody. We'll debate it all when we come back, and we haven't even got to the football yet. We will. It's the RP Show, and this is the warm-up. Morley, Scott, and Arash Madani on the way on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
It sure is, and it is episode number 929 of your favorite daytime sports talk show on WQEE Radio and Game Plus Television, plus your favorite podcast platform. And we stream on YouTube as well as a luxury to those who consume it there. Let's bring in the Moose. And Moose, I'm trying to stay focused. I've thrown out some pretty significant topics here, which I knew we would. I'll tell you, go to our Instagram account and watch the story. Every morning I put on there what we're going to talk about. It gives you some time to think about these things. For instance, all-star memories and so forth. And Bobby Hull, the man versus the player, they were two very different things. 24 hours after his passing, it's been debated lustily. So I just want to say from our viewers, regarding the All-Star game, John Ohm in Winnipeg says, when are they going to take the NHL All-Star game outdoors? How about that? It's a good idea.
How about that?
But I'll let them debate it. Robin in Prince Albert says, I will keep saying now that there's no rivalry series in the Canadian Hockey League, which was the Canada versus Russia series that we had for years. He said the WHL needs an all-star game. Yes. Ryan, do they have an all-star game in that Southern Pro Hockey League? The league the Atlanta Gladiators are in and the River Kings. Those all-star games were great, Darren. I was at a million of them. And just forgive me the ramble here for a second. I'm trying to get everything out. In 98, we had one in Regina. IMC'd it, skills competition. We brought in the NHL skills, all the same equipment, all the same guys that ran the NHL equipment. Hardest shot, fastest skater, most accurate shooter, all that stuff. and I am seated on the ice. The Agrodome was full, and I'll never forget because the All-Stars were bugging me about my goalie skates that I was wearing. Because, of course, you know hockey people. Oh, I can't wear goalie skates out there. Why not? They're my skates. And if I don't wear my goalie skates and put on somebody else's, I'll probably fall over because they're a unique kind of skate. Secondly, have you seen this thing going around, Moose? Spitting Chicklets and Bar Down, the rink in Lang, Saskatchewan. You must have seen this by now. For those that don't know, and I'll get Darren's opinion in a second, I played in that rink tons of times, and the dressing rooms are on the second floor. It's a typical Lang thing. Why would you put the dressing rooms on the second floor? But they did, and when you walk down the catwalk, there was a drawbridge. For lack of a better term, a drawbridge that rose up and down. So you had to, like, walk out on the thing for it to drop to walk down on. And once the whole team went off it, they would pull the thing and it would come back up. Well, guess what? As the starting goalie for every game, like I was, who was the first guy to come out of the room, down the catwalk, and onto that thing? Just tell me, who was it, Darren?
Yeah.
It was me. No. I would walk down the catwalk and then stop and then look over my shoulder, and it was usually Wade Beck or Greg Henry by number. And I'm like, nope, one of you guys do it. So then they would do it. But I would never do it because I was afraid of going out too far and basically killing myself. I think it was a threat.
Yeah.
How is that even legal now, occupational health and safety? How is that still a thing in Lang, Saskatchewan? I thought that rink burned down or they tore it down. And by the way, the goalie for the Lang Knights, his nickname was Hitler. So let's get back on the Bobby Holt thing. His nickname was Hitler, and everybody thought it was okay.
I know. What if you had to take a leak and you were in the dressing room and the game started? You couldn't get on the ice because the stairs came down onto the ice over top of the glass. But that photo actually came up from Braden Conshu, the sports information director in Regina. I looked it up. He posted it on Twitter to his 500 followers. But it got caught on, and eventually it's gone viral, and now it's all over about Lang, Saskatchewan. But that's good old Saskatchewan rink. We used to have that in Wynyard, where our midget team and our senior hockey team would dress up on the second level. They'd walk out and then down the stairs. But you'd always wait for the opposition to get on the ice, and then they'd have to watch you march down the stairs. It was so intimidating to the opposition to watch that happen every game. That's a small-town Saskatchewan thing.
Come to think of it, our dressing room in Milestone was on the second floor, too. But at least we didn't have a stupid drawbridge to get onto the ice. We went downstairs like normal human beings. Sort of the Hitler thing, and I don't say that lightly, on the Bobby Hull thing. You don't need to have me recap Bobby Hull's off-ice exploits, if you will, for lack of a better term. Don, our Navy friend, says, Bobby Hull, name me one person of note who has never stubbed their toe, and I'll show you waterproof property in the Florida Keys. Randy from Winnipeg says, thank you, Bobby, for bringing NHL hockey to the Peg. Without him, there would be no Jets. I watched the pregame ceremony last night from Canada Life Center. It was amazing. They did a wonderful job. Profiling his number in the rafters, projecting his image on the ice. It was great. They love Bobby Hull in Winnipeg, and I understand what he did. Again, well documented. But The Athletic, I subscribe to The Athletic. Sometimes I wonder why, but I still do. The writer that covers the Blackhawks out of Chicago, can't remember his name, but he tweeted, Bobby Hull was a horrible person who just happened to be good at hockey. And then his article. And it drew people's ire, obviously. I want to say something about my personal connection to Bobby Hull. Oddest thing, I never met him. But I've done tons of events with his brother, Dennis. Tons. For the last 25. I know Dennis very well. His son, Brett, I was around because the Dallas Stars thing and my dad working for the team that he played for, and I was around the team a lot. And then one of his sons, Bart, played for the Rough Riders, and I was covering the Rough Riders when Bart played for the Rough Riders in the 90s when the Riders were terrible. Do you Rider fans remember Bart Hull? He was a Canadian fullback. Basically a special teamer. Nobody would remember him. Nobody remembers who the Riders' Canadian fullback was last year, let alone in 1996. It was Bart Hall. I remember it. Very good-looking guy, very good-looking family. I guess what I will sum up here is, and Serena and I have talked about it a lot, from Tiger Woods to various people that have a very distinctly a different persona away from the playing arena. It's up to us to decide whether you want to cheer for them or not. What's up with Bobby and his past wives and his family is kind of their business. If you want to cheer for him as a hockey player and an icon, then go ahead. That's what I prefer to do. Again, if I've met him, I might feel differently, but I haven't even met him. I want to remember him as the iconic hockey player, the Golden Jet. If you want to remember him for what you've read, or you have a personal experience and a reason not to like him, then that's up to you too. But can we allow people to make their own choices on that? Fair?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have to make our own choices. And you know what? It's okay to, be a fan of somebody on the ice and like them on the ice, but not agree with how they act as a human being outside of hockey. It's okay to cheer for somebody and, leave it at the rink. And if he was great for the fans in Winnipeg and awesome for the game, then that's really good. Doesn't mean we have to celebrate the way he acted off the ice or hold him in high regard that way, but we can appreciate the player and the impact that he had on the game of hockey, because he is one of the icons, he is one of the legends, and that's never going to change.
I guess remember him how you want to, but to fight over it is kind of sad, but that's where we are in society. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, no human being is without flaws. He definitely had his flaws, but was a great hockey player. I would agree. Hear, hear. Way to go, Wayne. Humans aren't perfect. Breaking news. From Jeff, the Stamps fan, Bobby Hull is polarizing. I think we can all agree he was a great player, great hockey ambassador, but perhaps a troubled soul with some vices. Right. Exactly. And he's gone now. So maybe learn. There's a comment come into our website, rodpeterson.com today, about George Jones, comparing him to George Jones. Maybe one day there'll be a documentary made about Bobby's life there has with George Jones, and you watch it and go, wow. Well, I'm just going to enjoy his music. Anyways, moving on. We covered that topic to death. By the way, who was it that wrote in here and said, can they at least modernize that rink in Lang? Oh, it was John Ohm. Could they modernize the... How? Have you seen these Saskatchewan rinks? No. Modernize it by...
lighting a bag of chips on fire. It's about the only way you can do it. I was going to say
by lighting it on fire would be the only way, but I'm not advocating it for that to happen. Moving on, the point three, we're only on point three. The Toronto Raptors couldn't hold a fourth quarter lead on the road Monday, dropped a 114-106 decision to the Phoenix Suns. Chris Paul hit a crucial three-pointer to push the Suns ahead by 4 with 1:30 to go. Raptors are now 2-2 on this roadie. They're at Utah Wednesday. The Atlanta Hawks lost at Portland 129-125. For the NFL fans, of which we're all big ones, the San Francisco 49ers announced quarterback Brock Purdy tore a ligament in his throwing elbow, putting his status for the start of next season in question. You saw the UCL ligament, ulnar collateral ligament in his right arm. I'm no doctor, Darren, but that sounds serious. The fact that he came back in the game probably should be roundly applauded.
I agree. It's a devastating injury for him. They're talking about Tommy John surgery potentially, or avoiding Tommy John surgery. We know what that does to baseball pitchers. It's rare you see these types of injuries in quarterbacks, actually, and a little surprising. But, now the conversation, at least largely through the NFL, has been about options at quarterback for San Francisco. We were talking not that long ago about Brock Purdy being the future and about them being comfortable with Brock Purdy. Now we're starting to hear the Tom Brady rumors again, that potentially he can come in, lead them to a Super Bowl next year, and let Trey Lance and Brock Purdy fight it out for who's going to be the next guy. But that's what this injury has done. They need to find a quarterback now.
We're just going to pick this back up in hour two. I haven't even got to the CFL stuff yet, and we will later on. When you mentioned Tom Brady, you saw the headlines, I assume, from last week. He's still doing his Monday night podcast with Jim Gray, and it was last week where it made headlines. Jim Gray, who has a history of asking annoying questions, asked Tom if he knew where he's going to play this year or where he's going to play this year, and Tom's like, no, I don't effing know, Jim. And I'm like, I haven't met Tom Brady. I'm pretty sure at some point I will here with this circle of people that I'm cavorting with. But I can see it. We're just watching the documentary on him. He's human too. FYI. And he's tired of it. And I'm sure he's thinking, Jim, I wouldn't think on my own freaking podcast I'd be asked this question. When I know, you'll know. Can I speak for Tom Brady in that? Because you said Tom's name has come up linked to San Francisco. He's linked to Miami. He's linked to Las Vegas. This morning they're saying Lamar Jackson is going to sign with Atlanta. I'm already tired of it. And haven't even played the Super Bowl yet. So that's what we're going to be listening to for the next several months. But with regards to Tom, I'm okay with it. Everybody else, it gets annoying. Anyways, do you have a quick thought on that in 30 seconds or less?
No, I'm good. We can pick it up next hour, but it's only going to get wilder from here when it comes to the quarterback controversies in the NFL.
Well, it's going fast, and that means we're having fun. And that will continue with Morley Scott next from 6:30. Ched. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and on the radio, 99.1 FM WQEE.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models, GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
You betcha, and we got a real fight brewing here. On Instagram, the Oilers are winning the vote, 73% for the best retro reverse jersey. We're into the round 3 of our retro reverse jersey bracket. 73% for the Oilers, yet on Twitter, 70% voting for the Los Angeles Kings. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm sure our next guy's going to vote for Edmonton without even having to look at them, because Morley Scott from 630 CHED is the voice of the Edmonton Elks, but for a longer time was the radio color voice of the Edmonton Oilers. Hi, Morley. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Rod. How are you, man?
Good. Really good. Looking forward to coming back to Canada here this spring and following the CFL trail. But before we jump into all those things, it's All-Star Week here in South Florida. Do you have NHL All-Star memories, either that you've attended or just watching, one that stands out to you, a favorite one?
The only one I've really attended that I remember was the one in Edmonton back in the late 80s. And it was in Edmonton, and it was the year after Gretzky was traded, and Gretzky and Curry played on the same line for the Western Conference, and everyone was pretty nostalgic about that one. And maybe my best memory from that was the concert they had that went with it with Katie Lang in a very intimate setting, and we had a lot of fun at that. So hockey-wise, I've never been a big fan of the All-Star game because it's not really a game, right? It's just shinny. It's great to see the stars showing off their talent and everything, but hockey-wise, it's not really a game. So the hockey memories from the All-Star game don't really have a lot of them.
Isn't that interesting, though, that you would bring up Katie Lang and you remember it, because the entertainment's a huge part of it. Fall Out Boy is part of the headlining act here at the All-Star Week in South Florida. 2015 Grey Cup they played. You might remember that game, Morley. I'm not sure your team won the championship.
I might remember it, yes.
So, yeah, and by the way, Wednesday marks the 30-year anniversary of Gary Bettman's tenure of as the commissioner of the National Hockey League. What grade would you give him on his report card?
Well, it's all about the money, right? He's made a lot of people an awful lot of money in the last 30 years, so I think you got to give him a very good grade, a good passing grade. He's expanded the league. He's got big TV contracts, or bigger TV contracts, and salaries have gone up, and teams are making more money than ever before. So I think if you grade him on what he was hired to do, he's done a pretty good job at it.
I would agree. There's a lot that don't like him for whatever reason, particularly in Canada, but I give him an A. He took the league to a long, long ways. So to the CFL, it's funny you mentioned that. Great segue. Morley is the voice of the Edmonton Elks. They're I guess, going to announce an American TV deal here shortly for the Canadian Football League. What do you think that will mean for the CFL to be in more televisions and living rooms in America?
Well, it's a good recruiting tool. It'll let players who maybe aren't even have the CFL on their radar. It'll get it on the radar if they can see the game and see it's a pretty entertaining game, and can see some of the players who play the game and can see the facilities that they play in. I think that is maybe the biggest part of it, especially when they're battling now with the XFL and the USFL to recruit players. So I think that'll be a big part of it. I don't know how much money they're going to get out of it. If they can get more money, which I understand they are, I don't know how much more, but they're going to get more money from their American TV deal. That helps as well. So, but for the most part, I think it's more of a recruiting tool than anything else, and gets the game in front of the eyes of the players who will, in a few years, be in the league.
It does really help a lot. As a matter of fact, specifically, in the longtime audience will remember me saying this, Danny McManus told me he grew up Dania Beach, Florida, about 20 miles from where I'm at right now, watching the CFL on television. So when he showed up in Winnipeg in 1990, he knew exactly what he was getting into. So you say that, Morley, I got to say this. I listened to a lot of your games this year. I told you that. Driving around Alberta. 630's got a big signal. You had some long nights, my friend. having to call some blowouts.
Well,
some
forget that.
delays.
It's been a couple of long years, Rod. It's been a couple of long years.
Yeah.
But yeah, last year we had a couple of long nights, especially when they're playing the BC Lions, because they chewed up the Elks last year. So yeah, it's been a difficult time for the fan base here. 7 wins in the last 2 seasons, not a single win on home field. So yeah, they've got some work to do to get this team back to where everyone expects it to be.
So are you spending any time in your role looking back and as the organization, or are you just clear, straight forward?
I think they've learned from mistakes, and for one thing, I don't think they're doing too much looking back as far as the management group goes, because they've only been in the job for a year. You can't fix and you can't blame them for what happened before they took over. And I'm talking about Victor Cui as team president and Chris Jones as general manager and coach of the football operations side of things. So you can't fix it, and you can't, you're not to blame for it. So you just got to move ahead, do what you think is best. Victor Cui's done a terrific job, I think, of trying to repair the bridge that really got blown up between the fan base and the organization. The fans appreciate what he's been doing. He's made a lot of moves that the fans approve of, but it's coming down to just win some games, for goodness sakes. The best marketing tool for any sports team is winning games, and the Elks haven't helped themselves out in that department, especially not winning at home for the last 17 games going back to 2019.
So do you have belief that there will be more wins this year from what you see?
I think they're going to be a better team. I think so. I think they've gone about in their own free agency so far. They've done a really good job of acquiring or reacquiring the pieces that they think are part of the puzzle going forward. Chris Jones came in with G. Roy Simon last year. They didn't really know what they had, and that's why they just signed everybody they could, and they were just throwing football players against the wall to see if they'd stick. And they were able to sort out the good guys, the guys they wanted, and they're signing those guys, and they're bringing those guys back. Now they know where their weaknesses are, and that's, I think, what they're approaching in the offseason with their scouting and their free agent signings will be getting, filling some holes, filling the weaknesses on the club. But I was just this morning going over the list of players that they have signed or re-signed since the season ended. First, Taylor Cornelius, they gave him a 2-year contract just before the season, a 2-year extension, so he's locked up. The 2 brightest spots of the football team late season, running back Kevin Brown and receiver Dylan Mitchell, they're both re-signed for the next couple of years. Then it was David Foucault on the O-line, Adam Konar. Then they got Lucius Purifoy, which was a really big move for them, I think, in free agency after BC released him. They re-signed Jake Seresna. They re-signed Manny Arsenault, Ante Litre, Ed Gainey, and Niles Morgan last week. So those are, I think, the guys that are going to be part of that core group, along with some guys that are already signed and moving forward. So I think they wanted to do through free agency. They got a couple of guys out there who they're still trying to negotiate with, and the window for the legal tampering period, as we call it, opens up on Sunday, and that's when everybody's going to start to hear some offers. But they still have Kenny Lawler out there, who obviously they want to re-sign, and Darrell Walker, who they have to make a decision on as well if they're going to try and bring him back or move on from him. So those are the 2 main names that are still on their own free agent list, and then they're going to have to start going after other guys.
Well, the track record of Jones is that they will be better. As you know him better than anybody. My last question, Arlen Bruce III's watching. You remember AB. He says, touchdown celebrations are the new wave. He says, during my time, playing touchdown celebrations were frowned upon. I took time to come up with those celebrations. LOL. Yeah, AB got fined and I think suspended for some of those, ridiculously. It made me think about Bo Levi saying at his news conference in Hamilton he's going to make the CFL fun to watch again with the OC Tommy Condell. What did you think with that trade and then that comment from my good friend Bo?
I already thought the CFL was fun to watch. Surprise, I'm surprised Bo said that. Maybe it's going to be fun for Bo to watch again because he's been watching from the sidelines for the last few games of last year, so it'll be different for him. That trade's really worked out well for Hamilton. They did a terrific job with it, and they gave the full court press. And it's if you go back and look at it, tradition dictates in the CFL when you make a trade like that, you're going to sign the guy. But Bo seemed a little different. He kept saying he was going to go to free agency. He kept saying, and everyone said, Saskatchewan's going to make him a big offer. Toronto might make him an offer too, depending on what's going on with McLeod Bethel Thomas. And then they were able to get the deal done. They signed him. They gave him what he wanted. Probably not as much as he might have got on the free agent market, but he left a little on the table to sign some players, which is going to be very interesting. I'm real anxious to see how free agency works out and what kind of a role Bo plays in it in Hamilton, and who that one big receiver is that they're going to go after. And maybe it's Geno Lewis, maybe it's Kenny Lawler, maybe it's somebody else. But you want to bet that they've got some money set aside for a pretty good receiver for Bo.
It's going to absolutely be a ton of fun to watch. Morley, always great chatting sports with you, my friend. Can't wait to see you this spring and summer, and thanks for the time today, bud.
Anytime, Rod. Look forward to seeing you, man. Take care.
All right, the voice of the Edmonton Elks, Morley Scott. Some sunscreen. I heard you. We'll be right back with a viewer takeover and sports update. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, at 99.1 FM WQEE.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Yeah, I know. By far, it's your favorite sports talk show. Thank you for that. Here on Game Plus TV, WQEE. Sports update coming up. We were talking about what's become a sensation just this week. The hockey rink in Lang, Saskatchewan. It's 7 miles from the town where I grew up. And go to Spittin' Chicklets, go to Bar Down, go to any of the popular hockey social media accounts, and they're showing this tiny little rink, which I'm sure has natural ice. And if you don't know what that means, you never will. And for the teams to come onto the ice, they come from the second floor, and then they have to step onto a drawbridge catwalk that once you step on it, it drops down to the ice. It's not motorized. It's not hydraulics. It's by hand. It's like a castle from the 1600s. I'm shocked they still have ice. I had no idea that rink was even still open, and I don't think that it should be. Write it down. So, Corey writes in from Radville on the 902 line and says, my dad played lots of senior hockey in Lang, LOL. He said it was dangerous as hell. The pillars stuck out so far on the side, and the stairs come down during one game, almost killed someone. I don't doubt it for a second. But those pillars aren't indigenous to Lang. We had them, just about every rink had them. I'm sure some still do. And again, if you don't know what pillars in a rink are or natural ice, you never will. So let's move along. Regarding the Bo Horvat trade, the Vancouver Canucks of the NHL trading their captain to the New York Islanders. Kirk watching says they essentially picked JT Miller over Bo Horvat. That should tell you that this organization is lost and beyond saving. It's kind of like the Lang rink. Can we burn it down? Start over? That's what the Vancouver Canucks need. But Kirk, you're an Oilers fan. And I've become a Florida Panthers fan, so I guess our opinion doesn't really count for much. To that sports update I was promising. How about, hang on. It's, you're not going to want to hear this, but it's so hot here in South Florida, my fingers are sweating that it's sticking up my laptop. The Canadian Premier League announced its 2023 regular season schedule on Monday. The Canadian-based Pro Soccer League has teams from coast to coast and will kick off their season Friday, April the 14th, with a match between Vancouver FC and Pacifico FC. That's Victoria. The last day of the regular season is October 7th, pitting Atletico Ottawa versus the Hamilton Forge. For the full schedule, visit canpl.ca. I went for the first time last year, watched the Cavalry in Calgary, and it's amazing. Really amazing. I'm a Canadian Premier League fan. Portland Winterhawks forward Chaz Lucius has been named WHL Player of the Week. The Winnipeg Jets prospect from Lawrence, Kansas, posted 4 multi-point games totaling 11 points as his Winterhawks claimed first place in the Western Conference. Last minute of play in hour 1. Meanwhile, Tri-City Americans goaltender Thomas Suchanek has been named WHL Goalie of the Week. Suchanek finished the week at 3-0, 1.67 goals against average, and a .948 save percentage. If the name sounds familiar, it should. He was the goaltender for who, Clark? Cheshire, right? At the World Jays. Thomas Suchanek. This sports update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas and Theaters Now. A Man Called Otto. Based on the comical and moving #1 New York Times bestseller, A Man Called Otto tells the story of Otto Anderson, played by Tom Hanks, a grumpy widower who is very set in his ways. When a lively young family moves in next door, he meets his match in quick-witted and very pregnant Marisol. That sounds fantastic. It's in theaters now. Landmark Cinemas. Check it out and get back to me whether you like it or not. Hour 2 up next after this brief pause on Game Plus at WQEE.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad? Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models, GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is round 3 of our NHL Retro Reverse Jersey bracket. Today we're pitting the New Jersey Devils against the Pittsburgh Penguins, a couple of Metropolitan Division rivals. Mario Lemieux on the right and God knows who on the left. Chico Rash. But I'm voting for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Slam dunk. Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, Pens. I love it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Here we go. It sure is. Welcome inside, everybody. Come on in to our wonderful community here that we call the RP Show. We are live on Game Plus Television. We're on the radio, WQE 99.1 FM. You can listen to them live, too, by the way. Right, Ryan O'Radio? If you go to my personal Twitter feed, at Rod Pedersen, there's a link right there. Top tweet. And I'm hoping, as we bring the Moose in from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, our co-host, I'm hoping, Moose, that we can sort of just slow things down a little bit. Hour 1 was a lot of, trying to run across the freeway. It was like a game of Frogger. There was a lot going on. You know what I mean?
Went by fast, though.
So went by very fast. The Bo Horvat trade. For once, the Bo that we're talking about is not Bo Levi, the CFL quarterback. It's Bo Horvat, the former captain of the Vancouver Canucks, who's now with the New York Islanders. So that trade's one thing that we're talking about. The legacy of Bobby Hull's another. Small-town hockey rinks is one. All-Star games is another. And the NHL All-Star Week, because it's not even a game anymore. The All-Star Week is here in South Florida. And I'm going to pick up my pass this afternoon, picking up various NHL dignitaries tonight at the airport, led off by one, Rich Sutter. I can't wait. I'm just so darn excited. WQEE, Ryan O'Radio says, that's correct, Rod. Thank you. At least I'm right on one thing today, Moose. Oh, and here's what. And virtue signaling, politically correctness. Here's the one thing that I think that we can talk about. And I don't know where it is. But somebody wrote in and said, why is the tomahawk chop at Kansas City Chiefs games okay? And I think you and I had this discussion if it was you and I think it was you and I, sitting there watching a game, because I think the Atlanta Braves banned it, the exact same chant. You tell me, Ryan O'Radio, we're on the air in Atlanta, but I haven't been to a Braves game yet. I know this, the discussion you and I have had that we haven't got an answer to is why are some things considered taboo and others are not? Why can certain teams not support LGBT pride nights, but if you didn't support a Black Lives Matter event, you're in trouble? But why do some teams need to change their name and others don't? It's got to be a God thing or something. I don't know. Did we get an answer to that? I can't remember.
The chant is interesting. I don't know if they banned it in Atlanta, because my first thought, Rod, is how do you ban a fan chant? If you do the chop, you're kicked out of the game. Like, are they going to monitor and kick everybody out? You can't control what the fans do. I know you cannot encourage it, or if there's music that goes along with it, you can stop playing it. But the fans are still going to do what the fans are going to do. I mean, you change the logo, you change the team name, then, you'll go down the path and eventually the chop won't be there. You can influence the behavior that way. But I don't know if you can ban it, because it'll be really tough to tell 90,000 football fans to stop doing the chop. I just don't think that would happen.
Well, what you do is you punish the team. And here's a good, fun little lesson. And by the way, let's just recap everything from an hour ago for those who maybe just tuned in and weren't watching last hour, Game Plus TV, or listening on the radio, WQEE. We're asking, what are your favorite NHL All-Star moments? Darren and mine are the same. Owen Nolan calling his shot on Dominic Hasek in the 1997 All-Star game in San Jose that he was going to take a Babe Ruth. We all know what it means. And then he did it, and then he felt bad after. And I get it. He showed up, Dominic Hasek, and he didn't want to do that because he's that kind of guy. He's a nice guy. He's Al Borland, is what he is.
Yeah.
But back to where we were. Oh, that All-Star memories, Bobby Hull, the legacy of Bobby Hull. How will you remember Bobby Hull? Do you want to be the one that remembers him as the NHL icon, which, frankly, that's what I want to remember? Or do you want to be the one that remembers him for what he did off the ice and what he's been accused of and charged of and all that? It's your choice. It's everybody's choice. You have a choice. Every day you have a choice. Are you going to be bitter or are you going to be better? Today's life lesson took 1 hour and 5 minutes, Moose. There it is. Every day you have a choice. Swerve in Calgary writes in and says, this world is so fragile. Oh, dude, you have no idea. Again, this is where I turn into a squirrel. Can I just divert for 1 second? I had an educator call me from Manitoba yesterday, Darren, and he just said, an educator, okay, career teacher. And he just said, the kids, this generation, they're so fragile. They're so lost. They haven't been taught how to deal with anything. They're so stressed. And that's what I do off the air here as a recovery coach. And speaking with my military friends, they said the people that are enlisting into the Army in both Canada and the USA, the kids that are enlisting, are fragile. The second they have any adversity, they wilt, they quit. Yeah, that's what we're wading into, folks. That's what we've created. By the way, don't blame the kids, right? Because they haven't been given adversity to deal with as children because their parents took care of everything for them. And they get into the real world. Mommy and daddy aren't there to wipe your butt and your nose. What are you going to do about it?
Oh, no.
So, right. So anyways, I'm sorry for getting off topic on that.
No, that's the cycle we're in. That's the cycle we're in. You see this all the time, right? You know, hard times create tough people, and tough people create good times, and good times create, you know, complacent people, and complacent people create tough times. The circle goes. So, you know, our ancestors had got through tough times, worked hard.
We losing him? Yeah, he's getting all worked up. He got all worked up. Oh, Moose was on a rare tangent. You tell me, guys, when he's back. I was sitting back and just enjoying it. Oh, man. Thank you, Kirk, in Saskatoon, for writing in, and he says, thanks for always getting to my questions and comments. I'm an Oilers fan, but more than that, I want to see all Canadian teams thriving. When was the last time we had all the Canadian teams in the playoffs in the same season? I'd say half past never. Clark, you're more up on that kind of thing than me as the historian. The last time every Canadian team has been in the playoffs, there's no way. Can somebody Google it and go to the big board? There's no way. Shoot, it's rare that we have both the Flames and the Oilers good at the same time, which they are now and have been for the last couple of years. But that's rare enough that both Alberta teams are good at the same time, let alone every team in Canada. Okay, Moose, I was enjoying the rant. You were talking about Hakuna Matata, the circle of life, and then you got all worked up. The Gremlins took you down, brother. Were you
I had an internet blackout.
Getting to a point? Oh, did you really?
The idea, well, it did. It just went out, and I didn't have any internet connection. It was all of a sudden it was gone for a good minute. It's back now, so that's good. But no, it's just a circle of life, man. Like, you know, the hard times, you know, create tough people, and tough people create good times, and good times create, you know, complacency, and then the complacency creates hard times. So it's like our ancestors worked really hard to create good times, and now this next generation is just putting their feet up, right, which is going to create some hard times, and the circle's going to continue again. So it's just the way it is, and we need to have, you know, hard workers creating good times.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you what, this is great. John Ohm says, a moose rant. Carlos in Indianapolis says, a Darren's rant. They all love it, man. They love it. They don't see it very often. I want to just say this. Stacey Champagne, who's watching from World Headquarters, Access World Headquarters, says Google says the last time all Canadian teams were in the playoffs was 1986. I'll have to take his word for it. That's a male Stacey. I didn't think it had ever happened. How about that? But if I may, in the 21 hours of CBT that I've had, which means nothing to anybody but knows the recovery industry, cognitive behavioral therapy that I've had, okay, straightening around my thinking, we live in the most, however you want to say it, easiest time in the history of mankind. Everything's automated, air conditioning, reclining seats. You have every creature comfort available to man and woman. And we're the most screwed up time ever. Thank you for pointing out, Kevin the Medium, that it's 1:11 Eastern, 11:11 Mountain. Everybody wants to bitch and thinks they're so hard done by.
Yeah.
And just one last thing. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says our grandparents had it hard, our parents had it easier, we had it even easier, and our kids are living in paradise. That's exactly it. And they think they're hard done by. All right? Okay.
And their kids are going to have it hard.
Well, then it's what you want to have it as, because I'm not complaining. I used to. It's all right here, buddy, as you know. I mentioned the notes that we didn't get to last hour, and I meant to, from for our football fans, because we've covered a lot of hockey today. NHL All-Star Week, your best All-Star memories. People have been, well, they were writing in not only with their memories, but with All-Star amendments they'd like to see. Somebody said they'd like to see a Canadian Junior Hockey League play an American Junior Hockey League. I don't know that the world could handle that. They said the Western Hockey League versus the United States Hockey League. Could you imagine? I would immediately say it would be the Canadian League, but dang, I'd like to see it. Where would we play?
Good question. I think it would be the Memorial Cup champ against the USHL champion, and they would play in June, and it would be probably go back and forth. 1 year it'd be in Canada, the next year it'd be in the U.S., do a 5-game series, maybe a 3-game series. I'm not sure. It'd be fun.
So it would be amazing, but that's not an all-star format. That's a championship format. I would like to see the championship team of the Canadian Football League play the championship league of the USFL or the XFL. Now, wouldn't that be something? There'd be blood in the streets, spilling all over the place from the fan base. You know there would be. And I want to say this. Gosh, we're getting sidetracked, but that's okay because it's fun. There is a U.S. Border Patrol guard in Denver, I'll say it, every time I go through, and he looks exactly like George Cortez, like my friend George Cortez, like a twin. And ironically, one time George and I went through there together, but that's another story. It went through that Denver entrance into America. But anyways, I was wearing a Grey Cup ring. And the guy goes, oh, what's that ring you got? U.S. Borders, it's yes, sir, no, sir, right? When you should be. If you're me or anybody going through customs into the United States of America. And I said, oh, it's a Grey Cup ring, Canadian Football League. Guy goes, Canadian Football League. And by the way, this was, Darren, when I was still drinking. It didn't take very much for me to get my hackles up, as they say.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there going, I don't want to fight. As a matter of fact, I told the guy that. He's a Canadian football. You guys think that's a pro league? Let's put your champion up against our champion, the NFL. See who wins. And I'm like, buddy, I'm not looking for a fight. I'm just trying to get into Texas for the weekend. You know, but he wanted to fight. Yeah. He wanted to argue it. It's kind of the same thing that we're talking here right now between these leagues playing each other, which, by the way, I don't think would ever happen. Do you think would ever happen? It would never happen. It never has happened. So why would we think it ever would happen?
Well, it could potentially if you saw some money there. Like, could you imagine you call it the Border Bowl, you know, XFL, CFL, and that might be part of, you know, if they're taking, now Vince McMahon's not a part of it, but if you take the pro wrestling kind of mantra and say, look, we're going to take your league and our league, we're going to merge them, okay? We're going to talk merger, but first we're going to create a rivalry, and we're going to build this up over 5 to 10 years and plan, you know what I mean? If you did the storytelling, maybe, but it's still a bit of a fantasy. It would be cool, though.
Well, and that's, sure, and that's another thing where business and sports don't really mix, even though sports is a business. Arlen Bruce still with us. He is a Canadian Football League Hall of Famer from Kansas City. He says, RP and Moose, did you hear that Joe Burrow could get a $1 billion contract? What do you think? And that's not that big of a deal to me. Somebody asked me a while back who I thought would be the first $100 million a year player. I can't remember who it was. It was off the air. It was a sports guy asked me who I thought it would be. And I think I said LeBron, although he's getting kind of to the end of his time. But it's not that $1 billion. None of this shocks me anymore. And AB, I'm surprised it would shock you. We just came out of the Bobby Hull discussion. He was the first $1 million player. He said he would go leave the National Hockey League for the WHA for $1 million. I was reading up on it this morning. And the owner of the Winnipeg Jets says, done. Here's $1 million for 10 years, $100,000 a year. Oh. And then I think he had a bonus too. But again, that doesn't surprise me. If you're saying he's the first $1 billion player, Joe Burrow will go down in history as that, and good for him. But Wayne Gretzky signed a $1 million contract with Nelson Skalbania, and that didn't hold up either. We'll be right back. Boy, this is fun today. Arash Madani will have some thoughts on this. He's 2 segments from now from Sportsnet Blue Jays. We are live on Game Plus TV, YouTube, of course, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino dancing.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Okay, we are back. Boy, has this been fun today, as I pointed out. Where are we? Let's bring the Moose in, if you don't mind. Yeah, that's where we're at. We lost him? So, we don't have Moose. Okay, well, he just disconnected. Well, I was going to say we're going to need a ruling from him. I go to Darren for most rulings for things that I can't figure out on my own. And one of those is this jersey poll for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center today. Our daily poll question is, which retro reverse jersey is better, the Los Angeles Kings or the Edmonton Oilers? On Twitter, over 60% of respondents are saying the LA Kings. On Instagram, over 60% are saying the Edmonton Oilers. And Clark, what are they saying on YouTube? Have you had a chance to have a look? Oh, okay, it's not up. Okay, he has not posted it to YouTube yet, but he will. Maybe that'll be the deciding factor between the YouTube vote, the Twitter vote, and Instagram. How about that? I didn't think it would be this close. To me, that Los Angeles Kings jersey is just the hottest thing walking. As they say, the Oilers jersey never really did much for me when they unveiled it. They've splashed some orange on there. Didn't do anything for me. Come on, LA, let's get it done. And it just popped up in front of me on YouTube, so you can vote there. By the way, we'll see if over the next 24 hours, the comments from the voice of the Edmonton Elks, Morley Scott, stirs up some controversy from the Canadian Football League. Again, to our U.S. viewers, this may or may not mean anything, but you'd think there would be more. Well, there are a lot of fans of the Canadian Football League in the USA, given 60% of the league is American players. And I'll bring the Moose in now. But stick with me, everybody. I'm thinking in my mind how to word this. Bo Levi Mitchell left the Calgary Stampeders. He is the all-time highest winning percentage in CFL history. He's from Katy, Texas, played at Eastern Washington. He left Calgary. I'm using my hands like a map of Canada. The radio people can't see it, but the TV people can. And he went to Hamilton, so he's there. The voice of Calgary's top rival, the Edmonton Elks, was on with us last hour. And I said, how did you feel about Bo Levi Mitchell saying he's going to make the CFL fun to watch again? You saw that comment, Darren, right, last week when Bo signed in Hamilton? Did Darren freeze with that weird look on his face? Yeah. He's having internet issues today. That's okay. I can handle it. Morley said, well, I've thought the CFL's always been fun to watch. But maybe it's funner for Bo now because he's been watching from the sidelines. Now he'll actually be on the field. Psh, psh. How's that going to go over? Regarding the comment about Joe Burrow being the NFL's, or sports actually, first billion-dollar player, Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, if I had a 10 to 15-year contract that would pay anywhere near $1 billion, I would lose a lot of my desire. I get it, Jeff, but that's why they do what they do, and you do what you do, and I do what I do. A lot of these athletes will tell you that while they are talented for sure, biggest thing that has them in the big leagues is their desire to not quit and to win. And in a lot of cases, too, the absence of wanting to do anything else. That's all they want to do is play that sport, coach that sport. Their dedication in the gym, all of that. I should mention, too, because we haven't yet, 3 games tonight in the National Hockey League. Washington Capitals at the Columbus Blue Jackets, Ottawa Senators at the Montreal Canadiens, and the LA Kings at the Carolina Hurricanes. And this is the one thing that is just a little disjointed. It's not a big deal. I think it's just me. But on the weekend here in South Florida, everybody was excited leaving the arena. The Panthers beat the Boston Bruins in overtime 4-3. Made NHL history that night. And they're like, yeah, see you in a week. Or see you at next weekend's All-Star games. But the festivities, the Panthers are off all week. A lot of teams are off all week. But not if your name is Maple Leafs, Bruins, Canadiens, Senators. They're playing tonight. Seems a little disjointed. But nobody seems to care about us. Oh, yeah, we got the Moose here back.
Sorry, Roddy.
It's all good. Hey, as we've pointed, as we've learned, I can handle it. People are asking what they would do, or sorry, they're answering. Without being provoked, our audience is writing in saying what they would do with $1 billion if they've had it. And Jeff Kabilas in Winnipeg says he would get that CFL team in the Maritimes. LOL. To anybody, including our Georgia audience on radio, people watching on the streams or television Game Plus, what would you do with $1 billion if you got it? I would have to sit back and think about that, because I know a lot of people like to sit and go, if I won the lottery, I would do this. I always think differently than everybody else. I would think about that for about 1.5 seconds and go, but it's never going to happen. I don't even buy lottery tickets. I'll just work for the money, and then I get angry that I don't have the $1 billion, so I stop thinking about it. You know what I mean? That's my path of thinking. You probably think about it, though. Do you or not?
No, I don't at all, because, again, it's not something that's going to happen. But in the 1.5 seconds I've thought about it, and, since you mentioned it, I would plant the biggest, most powerful internet tower on the beach and build us a studio on the beach so we could do a show every day. And I would take 10 grand out of that, and I'd buy a 1970s-ish Mercedes-Benz convertible, and life would be great.
And they would just tool around South Florida. I love it. By the way, speaking of that, I do want to mention A Game, the ultimate in hydration. They've sent me everything, by the way, as you know all this. And I thank our very good and now mutual South Florida friend for lining this up. This is a sports drink. It's not an energy drink. There's a difference. I'm learning all these things. A Game, you can look them up. Instagram, Twitter, at Drink A Game. It's the ultimate in hydration. What I mean by that is people that follow my social media and hear me talk on the show, I work out almost every day. And thanks to Orange Theory Fitness, I do it really hard. And I come out of there for the rest of the day a lot of times with headaches, muscle cramps, and I thought it was just me. And forever, by the way, it's not just with age. I've always had that problem. Pounded one of these the other day, and within minutes I was like, I feel fantastic. And I realized it's hydration. I hadn't been hydrating myself properly. So for our U.S. viewers and audience, it's available at Publix, but you can also order it online and ship to Canada, drinkagame.com. I don't even know why I brought that up, other than to say thank you for coming on board. Rose in Edmonton is watching on Game Plus television, and she brings up a point. She says, I was with what we were saying earlier about cancel culture, I guess, and political correctness. She says, I was just saying on the weekend during the Kansas City Chiefs game when they were doing all the tomahawk chop, we can't celebrate our beloved Eskimos, but they can do that? Maybe one fan base has a spine and the other doesn't? I spent just enough time in Edmonton last year to not want to spend any more time regarding that debate with the Eskimos. You know what I'm saying? I loved Edmonton. We had great times there. You were with me. But my word, did they botch and screw up that name thing there. And, again, I don't know. Is that what it comes down to? Is the team going to stand up to the cancel mob? I don't know. And I remember during COVID when we, for 4 months, had no sports, period. We went 18 months without a CFL game, which was one of our primary topics. We talked about this kind of crap all the time. I was kind of enjoying not talking about it, actually.
Yeah.
How about you?
It's not going to be easy, and it's going to be rough. But I go back to the Ottawa Red Blacks. We hated that name. 2 colors, really? You're just going to say the colors at the end? And now Red Blacks is just a normal name. We just think it's cool. And the lumberjack thing, and I mean, it's not really cool yet, but it's well on their way. I mean, they won a Grey Cup, and they've done a few things, and that's all it's going to take. Under this Elks name, it's going to take some time. And obviously, the longer their history from the Eskimos, the longer it's going to take. But they'll win. Merchandise will get sold. And eventually, we'll forget all about it.
I still think the name Ottawa Red Blacks is weird. I never really got used to it, but I'm like, whatever. They literally said to me at the time, their owner, Jeff Hunt, close friend of mine, goes, Rod, you wouldn't get it. And I'm like, you're right. But I don't need to get it. I don't live in Ottawa. You know, he said it was an ode to our franchises that have all been red and black. Think about it. Senators, the Ottawa Rough Riders, 67s. Now they're all red and black. Okay, cool. It fits very well with the plaid thing, the red and black plaid, but that's their thing, native to them. I mean, down here in South Florida, eventually you're going to come and visit, maybe put down stakes. They have their thing. Every region has their thing. You can't be into everything. You know what I mean? Speaking of fans, Ken Kaoski is watching on Game Plus television, in Yorkton, and that's carried on SaskTel Max there, channel 427 television. He's texted the 902 line. He says, in the English Premiership, they fine the clubs for offensive and racist chants, but that doesn't stop them. Fans will do what they do. Now, trust me, I get it. And write it down, Moose. We'll never get into European soccer here. Never. I'm more than okay with Canadian Premier League and MLS. I almost bought a jacket the other day for Inter Miami, the MLS team that plays out of the stadium in Fort Lauderdale. I almost bought it because I really liked it. I was in Dick's Sporting Goods. It was black quarter zip with pink down the side. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
I'll do that. But it reminds me of back in the old days, Taylor Field Football Stadium, home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Our band played in the end zone. And weird. In a way, I thought we were such suckers. Our band would play, and Damon Allen, Marcus Allen's brother, was quarterback in the BC Lions, and he complained to the officials about the crowd, the band playing while they were in their huddle. He's like, I can't hear. They went and warned the band. They said, you keep playing while they're Lions, the visiting teams in the huddle, we're going to throw a flag on your team. So they stopped. I don't even know if they do that anymore. I'm sure you heard that there's the crowd noise thing. Yeah, I don't know if they do in any league.
Yeah, I don't think that they do.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think they do. I don't think the band, honestly, I don't think the band is inside the stadium in Saskatchewan anymore, let alone playing music during the stadium, during the games. I don't even think they're in there.
I have no idea.
Which is a big part of the history of that team that's gone.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. David in Winnipeg's watching on Game Plus TV, where we're carried on Bell MTS cable. Regarding our jersey poll today, he says the crown on the LA Kings jersey would go well with the Bet Regal robe, long reign King Rod. The robe is right over there, about 10 feet from me right now, waiting for the crown to arrive. And David says, are Jets fans putting away the torches and nooses until after the All-Star game? We're going to pause and bring in Arash next, but that's why I don't have a lot of time to listen to Jets fans, Oilers fans, Rider fans, Leaf fans, Dolphins fans. That is their lot to complain. They played not a perfect game last night, but pretty much everything you'd want in a 4-2 win over the St. Louis Blues, and they're all fine today. It's like popping a pacifier into them. Give the fans a win, and they're good for a while. Well, that's every city. And, well, like I say, not every team's on their all-star break. Habs and Sens play tonight. We'll talk about that and all kinds of things with Arash next. Moose, I'll see you in overtime, okay?
You bet.
Load up your questions and comments for Arash. He joins us next. We are live on Game Plus TV, YouTube live streaming, your favorite podcast platform, and, of course, on the radio, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models, GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Indeed, welcome back. And we are live on Game Plus and WQEE. Let's bring him in now, not waste any more time. Sportsnet's Arash Madani, sideline reporter for the Toronto Blue Jays, is dressed up today. You're looking sharp, my man. What you got going on?
I'm getting ready to go to Super Bowl next week, pal. Headed to Arizona. And going to be there for the full week and all the hoopla with it.
What a wonderful, not a segue then, that's where we're going to start. I was going to ask you how you feel about this matchup of the Eagles and the Chiefs. Are you happy with it?
I am. I was amazed, Roddy. I don't know if you saw the AFC title game did like $53 million in the U.S., an 11% increase over last year. And it's amazing how star power, not market size, star power drives viewership, eyeballs, attention, interest, all of that kind of stuff. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Joe Burrow, and what that's able to do. And I think that this Super Bowl, what it's going to do is allow the sporting world, it's going to be the coming out party of Jalen Hurts. I mean, this dude is all of it. He's Patrick Mahomes light. I actually believe he runs the run-pass option better than Mahomes does. And it's such a weapon for Philadelphia that can really, outside the numbers, extend you. They have Heisman, they have AJ, and now they have Jalen Hurts, who's finding his stride. I think it's going to be a terrific game.
Well, it's amazing when you sit back and look at the dichotomy, if that's the appropriate word, and if you believe what you hear. Doug Pedersen got fired in Philly because he wasn't a Jalen Hurts guy, and you know, all that. And I don't even know whether that's true or not. And look what Doug Pedersen's done in Jacksonville. Could be coach of the year. But it's interesting that you go straight to Jalen Hurts. because I've been watching ESPN all morning here, and they've been saying Patrick Mahomes, greatest passer of all time. I'm like, I feel like that might be a little premature, but where are you on that?
Yeah, I'm not there yet, and I don't know. He might be the most dynamically accomplished quarterback of all time. I'm old enough to remember Randall Cunningham, Roddy, slinging it. Michael Vick slinging it and being able to do it. But I don't think we've seen a player quite like Patrick Mahomes. And Sunday may have been, under the circumstances of the injury, under the circumstances of Burrow's 3-0 against him lifetime going into that thing, under the circumstances of this is the 5th straight AFC Championship game in Kansas City, and there's a bit of a dynasty hanging in the balance here. And let's remember, KC had to reinvent itself this season offensively. You know, you lose Tyreek Hill, who's your stretch the field deep threat. It was a different KC offense altogether with Mahomes at the helm. So that he was able to do what he did in the nature in which he did it, when he's hobbling around on one ankle, I thought really showcased who and what Patrick Mahomes can be when the lights are the brightest and it's all on the line.
2 weeks to talk about it, and I just want to ask you this before we do move on to an NHL question or two, but immediately, Sunday night, once we knew that the matchup was going to be Philly-KC, of all the storylines that came out, one was the Eagles fired Andy Reid 10 years ago after taking him to, what was it, Super Bowl 39, I think. I'm sure Andy hasn't forgotten, but I'd forgotten. How big of a storyline is that of all the ones you'll be covering over the next 10 days?
Look, you want some more Andy Reid? How about Andy Reid shows up to Kansas City? Nick Sirianni was there on the coaching staff with KC, and Andy Reid didn't retain Nick Sirianni, and now they're going up against each other in the Super Bowl. Look, Andy will be the first to tell you. He spent 14 years as a head coach with the Eagles. 14 years in pro football. Who lasts that long ever anymore unless you're in Pittsburgh? So I don't think there's any ill will. Andy loved the Eagles, loved Philadelphia. I think he's pumped that his old team is in it. Of course, he wants to beat his old team. But I think, Roddy, the bigger story here is what a coach Andy Reid is. That he took Philly to a Super Bowl and, T.O. on one leg nearly got it done for them. Only the Patriots in the height of the Brady and dynasty defense era knocked them out. Now he's back in his 3rd Super Bowl with Kansas City, a shot at a 2nd ring. And, to me, Andy Reid is already a Hall of Fame coach. But if these suckers win it on next Sunday, I think gold jackets now await Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reid without debate. And they're not going to retire, but even if they retire after Sunday, that cements them into the Hall of Fame.
Well, it's interesting, and I'm sure you're excited to get there. Here on Miami radio yesterday, there's 3 sports radio stations to cheer from, or to choose from. They're amazing. And they were saying everybody knew to cover Kelsey, and they still couldn't cover Kelsey. He's that good. But speaking of
name me a linebacker in football who has shown that he can. And that's the issue. Yeah, Travis Kelce's a matchup nightmare, Roddy.
Yeah, nobody can cover him. Speaking of tenures, Wednesday marks Gary Bettman's 30th year as commissioner of the National Hockey League, the longest tenured commissioner of the Big 4 leagues. How would you assess that era for the National Hockey League under Gary, Arash?
Wow, that's wild to think it's been 30 years. Because what was it? His first one was when the Rangers won the Cup and ended their drought, I think. I don't know, Rod. I don't know what the mark of a good top 4 pro sports commissioner is, because what's their job? Is their job to grow the game and grow the league, or is it to bring money in for owners? So has franchise valuation gone up? Yes. Has the league expanded? Yes. Have they now brought in a richer television deal? Yes. Does it feel like they could have done a lot more along the way? Yeah. right around the time Bettman took over, 95-ish, 96 maybe, there was an infamous Sports Illustrated cover that said why the NHL is hot and why the NBA is not. And now look at the trajectory in which the NBA has been on and what their franchise valuations are and what their TV money is and how identifiable their stars are on a first-name basis. LeBron, Steph, KD, Kyrie. You just know them all by their first name. And I dare say Connor McDavid or who? Name me another megastar in the league. Nathan McKinnon could walk through Times Square and not one person would know who they are.
Yeah, well, it's a fascinating debate, obviously, for sure. One last thought on the Blue Jays. Won't be long before pitchers and catchers report.
Well, look, it's crazy how a team that hosted a playoff series last year has had so many changes to it coming into this year. Both corner outfielders have been replaced. They went and spent on their pitching staff, in particular in the rotation with Chris Bassett coming into the mix. Then you go and you say, okay, we're going to, with team defense and run prevention, this is how we're going to go about it. And Kevin Kiermaier's now in this mix, and you're saying, okay, that's going to reduce. I believe this. I believe that if the Blue Jays stay healthy, this is a team that can contend for the American League pennant, if they stay healthy. And last year, for the most part, outside of Hyun-Jin Ryu, that starting pitching staff stayed healthy. But that's the key here. Like, Alek Manoah's a beast. Kevin Gausman's legit. Let's see what they get from Jose Barrios. Now you bring in Bassett, who seems to be a proven commodity. I think the Blue Jays are fine when you look at the 26-man roster right now. The question is, can that sustain? Because I'm not quite sure what the depth is pitching-wise, and they're not alone. Most teams are like this. It's just so hard to find arms. So, it'd be catastrophic if Vlad went down. It'd be catastrophic if Bo went down. It'd be catastrophic if Springer had a, long-term injury. But, to me, it starts and ends still, Roddy, with pitching.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it will be fun and won't be long. But Super Bowl first. Safe travels, my man. Sorry I'll miss you this time around, but have a blast, and we'll keep in touch with you down there.
Will do. Thanks, bud.
Sportsnet's Arash Madani on his way. Super Bowl 57 awaits. Overtime is next. Viewer takeover and the Moose rejoins. We're live on Game Plus Television, your favorite podcast platform. YouTube Live, of course, and on the radio, 99.1 FM, WQEE Radio.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Yeah, buddy. And the Moose, Darren Moose Dupont. For Overtime, which is brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home of the Rod Pedersen Show Super Bowl Watch Party, Sunday, February 12th. Join Moose, me, your favorite RP show personalities at the Four Seasons Sports Palace. The Four Seasons, for all the right reasons, Moose. We'll be enjoying the Eagles and the Chefs. 2 weeks to talk about it. Of all the things today, I don't know if we came up with, if we solved anything, but dang, we had fun. And from the 902 text line, 902-518-3033, pick up the phone and text RP, Rod Pedersen. Regarding the name Ottawa Red Blacks, which we still think is weird. Come on, Darren, it's weird.
It's not, it's weird. It's weird, but we're starting to get to a point of acceptance, right? We're just accepting it.
Sure, that's what life's about. Acceptance and gratitude. Woo-sa. Well, I'm breaking everything.
Oh, no.
Thankfully, it's the last segment. Devin in Burns Lake, British Columbia, writes in regarding that name Red Blacks and says, you can't have a second team in the same league called the Rough Riders. This was the best they could do. And that reminds me, I feel like we're doing a lot for Canadian sports being on the air in the USA, but all across Canada. For those that aren't paying attention to these things, we're bringing light to them.
Yes.
And yes, for years and years and years, the Canadian Football League had 9 teams, and 2 of them had the same name. Don't ask. It just sounds like a punchline, but it's not even anybody's fault. The 2 leagues merged, and 2 teams had the same name. It's not anybody's fault. It's not. Believe me, I've put in the research into this. You know, but I also realized this, Darren. You talk about acceptance. We had a president of the pro team that I worked with for 20 years, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who we sat and we argued about this. It was when Ottawa was coming back into the league, and he thought they should be called the Rough Riders. I'm like, we're the Rough Riders. What are you talking about? We're going to have 2 teams with the same name in a 9-team league. And he goes, well, that's what makes us quaint. I'm like, you're a fool. You're a buffoon. You're a rube. So as long as you have thinking like that, how are you ever going to be progressive? You see how we can't always agree on the same thing, Darren.
Yeah, I know you can't, but that is funny. Small league, 2 teams, the same name, and you're right. It's what makes us quaint. But it's just like, is that what we want to be? We just want to be quaint, and we're just happy with that.
So what do you want to be, and who wins? He's the president, so he gets what he wants.
Yeah.
It was years and years ago. As people Google presidents of the Rough Riders in the years trying to cross-reference what I said. It's like that lovely town that I love, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, which, as you know, a lot of times when I return to Sask, I stay in Moose Jaw, and I love it. But there's a time, and I think they still do, have traffic lights that hang on wires. They hang. Because they were put up in the 1960s.
There you go.
Well, we have it's a tourist industry there, and people show up and go, "How quaint!" They have traffic lights hanging from wires on the internet. I'm like, it's not quaint. They haven't changed it since 1963.
It's not on purpose.
Anyway, no, they didn't mean it. That's my point. Lyle in Tirana, he's watching on Game Plus TV regarding the lottery. He said the lottery is the fool's tax. Well, I've heard that said too, but I've never been one to buy lottery tickets. It's just not for me. But I don't begrudge anybody for buying lottery tickets, except for the nincompoops in front of me at the gas station or the 7-Eleven, where I want to, well, they're just pretty much always wearing sweatpants, so I want to grab them by the sweats and just rip them up. Can I pay for my gas and you can go back to checking all your tickets?
Yeah, you got places to go, and they're scanning the counter. I'll have a blackjack.
Kill him.
And how much is that Monopoly one over there?
You won $3. I'll take $3 in tickets, please. Last minute of play in hour 2. Phil's watching in Dauphin, Manitoba. Good day, good day. It's Taco Tuesday, says Phil. If I had $1 billion, I would invest in bringing back Sears or buy an XFL team and lure Tom Brady or buy tacos. I'd buy $1 billion in tacos, man. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. I made taco salad the other day, and I was like, I can eat this every day. Yeah. I can eat it every day. Thank God it's healthy. Well, we accomplished nothing today. I hope people had fun, though. 15 seconds. Any last parting shots, Moose?
Have a great afternoon. Enjoy that sunshine, and say hi to the NHL folks for me.
We will. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Eastern, right here.
Who has more fun than us?